All right, y'all, so what are we doing? I'm redoing my easy no-tie bow video. This is one of my most popular videos. I will link to the original video down in the description box. I'm also going to be showing you a wreath that I'm just going to use as an example for this. I will also link to that wreath down in the description box and in a pinned comment. So let's take this wreath, and we're just going to pretend that we're going to put a bow on this wreath, okay? I'm not gonna, but let us pretend. So whatever width of ribbon you want to use it, okay? Once you watch what I'm doing here, you'll get an idea of the width that you want. Anyway, wired ribbon works best for me. So what you want to do is look at your wreath and decide how wide do you want your bow. Now, once you fluff out the loops on your bow, it's going to draw it in a little bit, so take that into consideration, okay? So we're going to say, okay, we want our bow to be this wide. Fold your ribbon like that, okay? And then we're going to cut it right here. So we got the wreath out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. So now you're going to take it and you're going to open it up. And this is the back side of the ribbon. The pretty side is facing downwards. You're going to take this and you're just going to kind of bend it until the ends meet in the center. You're going to take some hot glue. I'm just going to put a blob right here and a blob right here. And then bend this over like that and just hold that in place until that glue sets up. Now, in the older video, I did put a strip of glue all the way down. And some people were making their strip of glue too heavy, and it made it really hard to bend it in the center. So that's why I just put the blob of glue here and here, okay? To make this easier to bend in the middle. So now while that glue is setting up, we are going to take another bit of ribbon and we're going to decide how long we want the tail. So let's say that we want the tail that long. See how I'm kind of holding it in the center of the bow? And we want it to be this long. And I just take that ribbon and fold it again. I've got stuff all over my hands. I've got a bunch of moss in here that I was cleaning up and paint and everything else. It's a mess. Okay, so that's going to be the tail. Now we're just going to go ahead and dovetail the end. You can fold the ribbon and cut it if you want to. Some people say, fold the ribbon and cut it. You do you, baby. This is the way I do mine, okay? You do you. So we're just going to trim this. These aren't the best scissors in the world, so I won't be able to cut through all those layers anyway. Okay, and that is our tail. So you're going to find the center of the tail, and let's just mark that and bend it. Now you're going to cut another piece of ribbon that you're going to use for the center of your bow. Okay, this is it. And we're going to take it and we're going to fold the edges. You see how I'm just kind of folding it up? Let me see if I can zoom in. Okay, you see how I'm just kind of folding this over? And we're going to fold that over like that. That will be the centerpiece of your bow. Okay, and we'll fold it again when we get ready to use it. I'm just showing you how to fold it. So now let's go back and zoom back out. Now to fasten this in the center, you're going to need some floral wire. You can get this at Dollar Tree, Walmart, pretty much any craft store. Just going to cut a piece there. And then we're going to just find the center part, and I'm just going to bend it like that. So now we have a piece of floral wire, okay? So now we have the loop that we made. The glued part is facing downward. You're going to take the center of your bow, bend it over like this so that it's in half. You see that? Bend it over in half, and then bend it back again and back again. And this is what we have. Try your best to find the center, and then we're just going to take the wire and we're going to wrap it around the center and tighten it up a little bit. Okay, like that. It's kind of towards the center. And now we're going to bring the two tails of our wire to the back of the bow. And now we're going to add on the tail, okay? So this is our tail. In the center part, where you folded it, scrunch that down like that. And then you're going to lay it there. And you're going to tie that down with the wire. So this is the back of the bow, back of the tails. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to tighten this down and then trim that away. All right, so now we're going to flip it over. This is now the front of our bow, and you can bend the tails down. Now, I don't really worry about that until I get the centers the centers, the centerpiece on. So anyway, we're going to take this and bend it over and just put a little blob of glue on each end. This is just to tack it in place so that it's easier to work with, okay? And then I'll put there and there. There's a fly and a gnat in here. It is that time of year, guys. It is that time of year, okay? So now this has been glued together. Once again, on the back of our bow, I'm just going to put a blob of glue. Now we're going to take the end of the center that we just made and hold it down like that. Bring this around. And then we're going to glue it down again. I didn't wait long enough. But anyway, now we're going to hold this down and glue that in place. And here in a minute, we're going to trim off the excess. Now that that glue has set up, you just flip it over and there is your bow. You can leave the loops here flat if you want to, depending on what you're using it on. Oh, I got glue on me. Or you can fluff them out like this. And then there's your bow. Just work with the tails and get them to where you want them. But there is your bow. Now you can glue this bow down if you want to, or if you don't want to glue the bow onto whatever project you're using it on, before you glue the loop down completely, you can use a piece of wire, lay it across there, and then wrap it over there. And I'll show you how to do that in the next bow that we're going to make. So in this one, I just showed you how to glue that down so that you can glue this bow onto something. But for this is just a very simple way, very simple bow like that. Now, if you want to make a bow with 2 loops, then you would just do the same thing. Okay, make 2, make 3. Once you get more than 3, it kind of gets a little cluttered depending on, the width of your ribbon. I would say to keep it to 3 loops or less. But for the 2 loops, just make 2 or just make 3 and then just pinch them all together and wrap your wire around it. And I will show you how to do that here in a second. And I'll show you how to do it while layering 2 different pieces of ribbon together. So let's move this out of the way. I'm not even going to measure this against a wreath right now. So let's say that you want your bow to be that wide. It's a little wide, isn't it? Let's cut this. Now, like I said, we're going to be making 2 loops. So we're going to cut 2 pieces of ribbon to use as our loops. And then we're going to cut some more narrow ribbon to go on top. So you have your width here. Now let's use, hold on. You cut this piece of ribbon here. And you want this other piece of ribbon, of course, to be a little bit more narrow so that you can see the underlying color here. Let's pull this out. This is sort of wrinkled. You're just going to lay it on top here and make sure that it's the same width, length, whatever you want to say. And then cut this as well. So now we have our 2 pieces here with the 2 different colors of ribbon. Once again, you're going to flip this over. Now you want to be really, really careful with the way that you're gluing this down, because you don't want the secondary ribbon to get all bunched up. So we're just going to be very careful here and put our hot glue. Would you look at that little blob of dry glue? Gone! Be gone. Okay, so now we're going to glue that down. This is our main color that we're gluing down here. And then we're going to put some more glue on this color here. Okay, so just make sure that we try to get this as centered as possible. And there's going to be people out there, I don't see why you do that. It takes more time. If you have a neuropathy, if you have a problem with your hands, if you have arthritis, if you don't have a bow maker, this is a viable way for you to make a bow, okay? People always got to complain about something, right? Okay, so now you're just going to glue this down like that. Okay, now for the tail, we did it just like we did previously, but I cut the contrasting ribbon here a little bit shorter. Okay, see how I've done that? Okay, so here's the center of that. Just kind of scrunch it. I can see it. I don't know if you can see it. Very good on camera. Okay, and then we're just going to cut another center piece here. And let's get a piece of, didn't I say get a piece of ribbon? Get a piece of wire. And cut that. Okay. Let's put that off to the side. Bend your wire in half. Lay this here. Now we're going to do it just like we did. Whoa. Why is this trying to get away from me? Don't know. Now we're going to do it just like we did the other one. Take it in the center here. Just bend it down. And then back. And then back. And then you get something that looks like this. I know this is looking weird right now. Give it a second. It'll be okay. Now you can go ahead and wrap some wire around this just to pin that in place if you want to. I'm not going to. Like I said, you can if you want. No problem. And then once you get them folded, you just layer them on top of each other like that. We'll try to find the center here. And then you're going to take your wire and wrap it around the middle like we did a while ago. So this is what we have. And I know it's raggedy looking. Just give me a second. It'll get better. The back of our bow. And here's the tails. And once again, we're going to do it just like we did a while ago. We're just going to scrunch this down, face down, and then just twist your wire around it. Once you start doing this, it's a lot easier than sitting here trying to watch me explain it. Once you get, you know, like the ribbon in your hands and you're working with, you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty easy. Okay. So now we have that. So now we're going to take our wire and just straighten it out to the side. Okay. This way. Because now we're going to put on our little centerpiece here and we're going to do it just like we did a while ago. Blob, blob. Fold this over, hold it in place, and then glue the other side over like that. Okay, now we're going to take our glue, just put a blob of glue right there. Take our little centerpiece here. Just hold that down and let the glue set up. Just like we did a while ago, you're going to take the center part, just wrap it around, and put our glue right here. Blop, 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 blop. Bring this up and hold it down. Now, I believe the glue has set up. So now, by doing it this way, see, now you have this wire here that you can use to attach it to your wreath. Okay? So we're going to flip it over. I know it looks like a hot mess right now. You just, hold on. Hold on, hold on. You just got to get it and work with it. Just pull the tails down. And then once you place it on your wreath, it looks much better. Okay? So let me just fluff it out a little bit. Here, like I said, you can leave it flat if you want to. And y'all seen me put bows like this on tons of wreaths. But I never really slowed it down and showed you how to, you know, like layer your ribbon like this, which is why I wanted to redo the video. There we go. And then you just mess with the tails. Bring this down. I've got this hooked here. Usually I hold things kind of like down in my lap while I'm working on them. So it's harder for me to like do this with my arms extended across the table to where the camera is. But anyway, there is a double bow with the wire on it that you can use to attach to your wreath. Like, so you just fluff it out however you want. And there is how I make the bows. So we have that one. Then we have this one. Like I said, you can make, you know, 2 or 3 loops, you know, what have you. But that's how I make it. If you would, please give this video a thumbs up, click subscribe, check me out on other forms of social media, the links to all of which will be in the description box down below. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.